crazy, man. I'm elated. I just want to say Super Bowl, boys. I know we got one more game, but we got it in the bag.
Wow. He's very optimistic. The feeling everyone in Michigan has. We made it. Championship weekend where your Detroit Lions are just one win away from going to a place they've never been before. The Super Bowl. It's been decades of embarrassment, little to no good memories. I mean, 0-16, calls that just ruined our season, not playing football in January, let alone February. Hall of Famers leaving us for either retirement or another team, and then they win a Super Bowl, but not anymore. This team is the one that has righted the ship. The roar has been restored for the Detroit Lions.
Yes, it has. Welcome to a special for our pregame show, The Roar Restored. It's been a long week.
That was my... See, we used to meow, but now we're roaring.
It's been a long week, folks, but we are finally here.
Yeah.
The Lions are about to play in their second ever NFC Championship game. We're joined by 9 and 10 sports reporter Kennedy Broadwell. Okay, Kennedy,
We should emphasize that as in their second NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl era.
Yes.
In the Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because the
yes,
last
yes.
one that we won was 1957 against the 49ers.
None other than.
And now we were going to do that
None
again.
other than.
But yes, Kennedy's here. We're going to talk football because, I mean, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the
It's
Detroit
been on all
Lions
of our brains all week.
to go into San Francisco and walk into the Super Bowl. If everything goes to plan, because that's the way it's supposed to be, right? So let's talk some things where, you know, the Detroit Lions and San Francisco 49ers.
Let's talk football!
Michigan has the Mackinac Bridge. San Francisco has the Golden Gate Bridge. Which one's bigger? Mackinac Bridge. That's right. 1 for us, 0 for them.
Nice.
California
Love it.
has the Golden Gate Bridge, as they have Alcatraz. We have Mackinac Island.
No prisoners on our islands.
Island. Not a prison, an island. Well, you can visit, you know. They got fudge up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's some of the things, but let's talk about what we can
Yes.
expect here with the game on just a little bit away. We're going to be looking at the 49ers team and the Detroit Lions, who are actually, when you shape them up, player by player, very, very close teams.
I know, and I'm glad the narrative has shifted this week.
Oh, yeah.
Because at first it was like, oh, 49ers.
Correct.
This is going to be a dog walk. The Lions, you've had your fun. It's over now. You're playing a real team.
Not so quick.
No.
Well, actually, I hope the 49ers go into the game with that mentality.
Me too. Go
too.
in cocky.
I would love for them to underestimate the Detroit Lions and the Lions to just come out swinging.
I would absolutely love that.
Me too, but did they just do that against the Packers?
It's very possible. I mean, they
Because
did.
the Packers were this close.
Yep.
Yes,
Debo
they
went
were.
out, and then they had no response until the fourth quarter.
No.
They were quiet. They were struggling anytime Green Bay was in a pass situation. They couldn't defend anything. And then the gears started turning in the fourth quarter, and they just squeaked by with that win.
By the skin of their teeth.
My gosh, we
Absolutely.
almost...
And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the mistake from Love, which he owned right away, that would have been a completely different game.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
So,
They were
I mean,
right
he made
there.
kind of a rookie mistake thrown across his body at the end. But we have someone who's been in this territory before leading the team. So Goff, I believe, will know what to do in that leadership role.
Exactly.
We need a run game to be there.
Yep.
San Francisco's run defense isn't the best in the league.
No.
In fact, that's probably one of their weakest points. And also their DBs. They're not superstars by any means.
I want to see Jared Goff in pass action
Yeah.
all day long.
And then
Absolutely.
one thing, obviously, that we saw last week is our DB situation.
Yeah.
So our DBs, hopefully Aaron Glenn kind of put them through the ringer this week and did a little extra homework because we need that to be superb.
Yeah.
We also need to get to Purdy.
That's-
If we get to Purdy,
I'm looking
That's
right
it.
at Hutch this week.
That's it. If you get to Purdy, rattle
He's gonna
him,
make
shake him up
mistakes.
the same way you did with Mayfield, I think the 49ers are going down, and it's going to be not too hard of a game if you can get in Purdy's head. And he doesn't have the experience Goff has at this level to be able to handle the pressure. And I feel like with the Lions, even if they're down, Goff has the ability to fight back. He has that mentality that it's not over till the fat lady sings point of view, whereas Purdy, you've seen it time and time again. Yes, when they're dominating the other team, he's firing on all cylinders.
Right.
But I've seen multiple games this year when he's not, when the defense gets him rattled and he's just not as effective as a quarterback any longer. And I think that's going to be the difference maker.
So let's talk about being on the road. We are, for the first time this playoff season, on the road. We're going to San Francisco, which is outdoors, a little bit different than playing indoors. A lot of the teams that we have played, we haven't played outdoors since Chicago in November. And we didn't necessarily just walk away with that win by any means.
Right.
So let's talk about how we should respond to being on grass and not turf, because it is very different from going to Ford Field to where they're going to be playing at San Francisco. I always forget the name of the park because it's now different. But anyway, real turf, very different. How do you think the receivers and our running backs and Goff, especially, because sometimes Goff, like last week, you saw him get happy feet right away in the game.
Yeah.
That's going to be different on grass. So how do you think that, is it a mental thing? Do you think we do well on grass? Do you think it is going to matter at all?
I would assume they would be doing some sort of simulation with that this week.
Exactly.
I can't imagine they just let that go. Because those little things...
Is Allen Park grass? Is it turf?
Well, they have the outside and the inside, but I doubt they were outside this week. But I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's
a
true
good question.
because it's cold and snowy. But yeah, I'm sure
just
they...
yuck.
But to get that real-world experience, maybe deal with the elements, because it's not going to be warm by any means.
I mean, it's going to be 70.
Whoa, really?
70. You'll get the forecast for San Francisco in a little bit. I'll get that to you.
Yeah, I was that just caught me off guard. I thought they were going to be something.
No, it's nothing like last week when they
I
had
was
the rain
going to say,
showers.
last week was nasty. That game looked terrible to play in.
Which that would rattle my cage a little bit more as a player than cloudy and 70. But again, turf, always different. Your spikes are going to be different. How are they going to feel on your feet? You know, you have a little bit longer spike than you would on AstroTurf, or not AstroTurf, field turf. Sorry. I'm used to AstroTurf. But that's no longer a thing. So it's going to be a little bit different for them all. San Francisco obviously knows their field. That's kind of the home field advantage for them. But
and again, 49ers fans, they're not an easy crowd either.
Oh, no, they are not.
Those fans are pretty intense. This isn't, respectfully, L.A.
Yeah.
But 49ers fans,
they're diehards.
Yeah.
There's a difference between, you know, like you said in California, L.A. fans and Niner fans. LA is usually like, oh, we're doing good. Jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
But
and they get to either team.
Correct. So, all right, so here's highlights from when we played the 49ers in 2021. Due to the NFL restrictions, though, we can't show you highlights from this year because we are so close to game time. But these highlights showing you kind of everything we've talked about. Exactly, the DB situation, what we need to get done. Goff, again, do what you've done the last 2 weeks. He's been on his game. Run game's been there. Pass game's been there when we needed it. It's just our DB situation again. I think that we need to kind of watch closely. That went right off that guy's noggin.
Yeah, that was a fantastic.
That was off Kittle's noggin.
That was fantastic.
I didn't even notice that. When is this from? Last year?
You just said 21.
Yeah, 2021.
Oh yeah, you just did read it.
I was like, you just said it.
I didn't set it up. But
someone else.
But that is something else to bring up too. Is they have an old graduate from Iowa, as in Kittle.
Yes, love that.
And then we have the new Iowa, Laporta, who should, in my opinion, win Rookie of the Year.
Agreed.
But I mean, the dude is amazing. So we have tight ends that are equal, and to be honest with you, again,
tight ends that are equal. You think?
Oh yeah, Kittle and Laporta. You don't think Laporta's Kittle, or you don't think Kittle's Laporta?
Well, this season, but I'm saying like. Kittle's been Kittle for a while.
Right.
Laporta hopefully surpasses Kittle for sure.
You think so?
I hope.
I mean, Kittle
this is his rookie season.
Correct. But I mean, Kittle is Kittle. I mean, his name
is Kittle. Kittle, I wish would cut his hair. Hot take. I wish Kittle would cut his hair.
Let's talk about some of what we're going into in injuries. We haven't talked about that yet because we've had some hopes throughout the week, and you know, at the beginning of the week, Debo was not playing.
Right, yes.
Now
he
it's
did
all like
practice
game time
Wednesday,
decision.
and now they're like, he's trending upwards.
He suited up Thursday.
And da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a major part of their.
How do you play that as a coach, though? How do you get the team ready?
You
for that?
practice for him
you practice
regardless.
regardless.
Well, and then you never know. You never want to underestimate who they put in his place either.
Right.
Just be ready for whatever. So, but that being said, I do think him missing played a really big part in how close the Packers got.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
He's Purdy's go-to target out there, and man, this is going to be such a good game.
It really is.
What are the matchups, Kennedy, that you think are not so close? Where do you think the Lions or 49ers stand out over the other side?
That's a really good question.
Because they
it's
seem really even.
That's the thing. I
Yeah.
truly believe it's even, regardless of people saying, you know, the Niners have been in. That's the biggest thing to me, is the Niners have been in this position. The Niners have been in this position. They've been on the cusp.
Yeah, but the Lions are hungry.
But so are the Niners. They've been this close to a Super Bowl for how long now? And when do you get over that hump?
How many
if you're the
times has
Niners?
Purdy been at this point and not gotten
And
to
not
Goff's
gotten to the
been
big
at this
show.
point once. But think about our vets that are, you know, the core of this team. The Frank Ragnows, the Taylor Deckers. They've not been in this position. I'm not doubting them for a second. Don't think that. But how much does the experience play into this is a really big question.
I think really this is the battle of experience over hunger.
Yep.
Because this is, you fire up Madden and you like pick both teams. It's like 85-85. You know what I'm saying? Like they're almost that.
They're right there.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kennedy. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And
Now,
it's going to be a great match.
A great matchup. This season is about Detroit being heard, and nobody has shown off their pride in their team and the city more than Michigan. We show your Lions pride next on the Roar Restored. Stick around.
And how about these lucky ducks? They are celebrating their birthday on championship week. There we go. So Lions, you can't disappoint them. Bring home a birthday present for Isabel, turning 17 from Manistee.
And a big happy birthday to Caleb from Remus, who turned 10. A big happy birthday to you, Caleb.
Darlene and her family in Houghton Lake are celebrating her 65th birthday. Happy birthday, Darlene.
Yes, happy birthday, Darlene. And a happy 70th birthday to Dave from Riverton Township. Dave, happy birthday to you, sir. Hope it's a great one.
And Miracle is cheering on the Lions, celebrating her first birthday in Michigan. Miracle is turning 4 this weekend. Happy birthday, everyone.
We'll be right back with more The Roar Restored on the 4. Stick around. Welcome back to the Roar Restored special here on the 4. We're checking in on what the weather conditions facing the Lions as they arrive in San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Michael, what's the team going up against, sir?
Thankfully, nothing like what they saw last weekend in San Francisco. It was soggy. I mean, it was wet. If you watched the game last week between San Francisco and Green Bay, yeah, it was just pouring for the majority of the game. Good news is it's looking like it's just going to be partly cloudy, maybe some high thin clouds as the game starts, maybe a little more clouds as the game ends. But temperatures, look at that, not too bad. Upper 60s to low 70s, 69 at kickoff, 72 by halftime, 71 as hopefully the Lions are walking off the field victorious. But yeah, that's going to be at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. It's very nice conditions, so as the boys get in there, we'll take you into future view and show you kind of what it's going to be doing throughout the afternoon. Out on the West Coast, you're going to see a few clouds with these south-southwest winds. They're going to be moving in from south to north. So for the most part, as they start the game, more of those high, thin clouds. As they head towards 6 o'clock, you're going to be looking at a little more cloud cover starting to build in. Good news is it's dry, though, whereas you still might have some high, thin clouds as the game moves on. But really, not too bad as we work our way through a lot of Sunday. So a little bit of cloud cover, but staying dry, and that's definitely going to bode well for the Lions. If we had to play in those wet conditions last week, I'm sure we'd push through, but very different when you're trying to hold on to a football or trying to make a cut in soaking wet fields. So good news is much drier. Going to be looking at those temperatures, 60s and 70s. And then next week, as we head into our forecast, you're definitely going to be looking at temperatures kind of still up and about above average across northern Michigan. But good news for the boys, Eric.
Great news. Thank you, Michael. And a northern Michigan school is showing their support for the Lions. Homestead Hills Elementary School in Benzie County held Honolulu Blue Day Friday. Students were encouraged to wear their Lions gear and Detroit Lion blue for their pep rally. They even got to sing the team's fight song, joined virtually by Theo Gridiron Spite, who performs it after every Lions touchdown at Ford Field.
We're coming together as a school through this theme, and we've been working on trying to be hard workers, persevering, having grit all year long, so this is a nice lesson. I think win or lose, all we can do is give our best, and as long as we're always working hard, we are proud of ourselves.
As you should be, yeah. Now, Glen Lake is just one of the many northern Michigan communities cheering on the Lions.
That's right. New and old Lions from all over our area have been sending us pictures and videos on how they're getting ready for the big game. Check this out. Oh yeah, ice sculptures, Lions.
Well done.
I like the helmet. That's pretty
well
good.
Done. That's impressive. that is dedication.
Oh, yeah.
Our very own David Leiden.
He just happened to catch the last home game of the regular season.
Oh, man.
Him and his little bug. But yeah, they had a great time at the game against the Vikings.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
If this is your submission, could you just let us know how long that took? I'm curious. That looks like a lot of work, and it paid off. That looks awesome.
I also saw one on Facebook. Someone was driving into a town. I'm not sure where it was at. I don't think it was in Detroit. But they turned the corner, and somebody had built a lion right in front of their, that looked just like the lion on the helmet out of snow and ice, and it was blue. Turned the corner, and you just see it in front of the business. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, everybody is getting up and ready, you know, and it's great to see. And I made... kind of a decision. I've said this before on the show. 12 years ago, I was like, until you take me somewhere that I haven't seen, and granted, I was 6 the last time they were in an NFC Championship game, so I don't remember it. I was like, I'm not going to put my hard-earned money into you.
Yep.
Because there's so many years of not. And I was very disappointed. They held their side of the bargain.
You hurt
I
his
held
heart,
my side
Lions.
of the bargain.
You hurt his heart.
That's good news there. But I mean, I'm so happy to see everybody coming out and be like, yes, finally. And it's very cool to see.
Now, it's been a historic year, one that no one will be forgetting for years to come, but the Lions are not done, folks.
No.
So while we wait for the game, we want to know who is your pick for the difference maker in the 2023-24 Lions season. Who's the MVP? We have a poll up right now on 9and10news.com, and we're going to bring that up. Let's take a look here.
Goff's winning.
Wow. Yes.
42%.
But it's still tight race, anyone's game. In your opinion, which player really made the team tick? Going the extra mile to bring NFL success to Detroit. Again, you can vote right now by scanning the QR code that you see on your screen or heading over to 9and10news.com. Make your voice heard. Roar with pride, friends.
The Sun God is in second at 28%, Aiden at 22%, and then David Montgomery at 8%. I really wish Dan Campbell was on there. To be honest with you,
that's a good point.
Would we be in this situation without Dan Campbell?
No.
But that's just my
changing the culture in Detroit.
That's true, 100%. Lions fans are celebrating this season's success. Next, how one fan went the extra mile to show his love for the team. We'll have that coming up right after the break. And welcome back, everyone, to a special Roar Restored episode of The Four. Meow. The NFC Championship game isn't necessary for two rival teams pitted against one another.
Detroit's last road win against the 49ers was in 1975, and their last playoff victory as the visiting team was all the way back in 1957 against the exact same franchise. But the division on the field is going to be heightened in some households as 9 and 10's Jody Meeson talked to two couples who'll be rooting for opposing teams this championship Sunday.
We jumped up and we both screamed, yes. So I said, I already had my Lions jersey on because Obviously, we were watching the Lions game, so I said, go get your jersey on. We're taking a picture, and I'm posting this to our friends saying our Super Bowl is next Sunday.
Harrison couple Dave and Tammy Bordeaux says they were elated when they realized their favorite teams would be facing off against each other.
It's been a great fun. I mean, we can joke with each other a lot, and so the smack talk can get pretty severe. It's not something for the faint of heart.
They might be a house divided, but it's brought them closer together. It's also been a great distraction to Tammy, who was in the hospital battling leukemia, but just got the word last week she's now in remission.
I had a bone marrow transplant. Didn't have much of a chance to survive without that. So the weekends were something we looked forward to that kept me motivated to push me forward.
Over in Cadillac is another house divided. The couple says they're pumped for this weekend's game.
I'll put on a fun shirt and makeup because I like to do that. He's going to paint his head, and I'm going to paint his beard all fun. And we go all out. I mean, like I said, we make it a family event. We do stuff with our kids.
They also say that sports has brought them closer together, well, until now.
House divided.
He used another D word as a joke, but...
Divorce.
Yep. And we've been together 4 years, but haven't been married that long. But we joked about that. Like, how's this really going to go? Are we going to be signing other papers, too?
Divorce papers may not really be in the works, but they do take their team seriously. Richard says he's rooting for the 49ers because if they make it to the Super Bowl and win, they'll make it the 6th win, the most for any team. He says he's always been a fan. While Kara says she's a true Blue Lions fan and this is their year.
Because we have to be. I mean, it's Michigan. Truly, it's Michigan. We live through just like Dan Campbell says, we live through harsh winters. We go through the thick and the thin. We are Michigan people.
Richard and Kara both have predictions on how this game's going to play out. Who's going to win?
Niners.
Love it.
Ravens.
34-17.
But they say no matter what, it's a win-win.
I'm a Detroit fan. I live in Michigan. I like the Niners, so whoever wins goes to the Super Bowl. It's a win-win for me. But Niners are my number one.
I think that it could be a win-win because I like to see him happy. So if the 49ers win, of course, I'm going to be happy that he's happy about it.
For 9 and 10 News, Jody Meeson.
Thank you so much, Jody. That was fantastic. I love the mentality of that. No matter who wins, we're happy. Maybe signing divorce papers, but happy nonetheless.
Yeah, we'll mail them next week.
Now, as the Lions prepare for the NFC Championship against the 49ers, players say they have been overwhelmed with the love and support from fans.
Yeah, but one fan is showing support that is permanent. Gino Vissi reports from the Lions practice facility in Allen Park.
We've seen fans dye their hair blue, travel in large numbers to away games, but Alex Chapeska got a tattoo on his arm that reads Lions Super Bowl Champs 2024, and he got it before the season even began. Lions players say this is just another example of how committed these fans are to this team.
I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
Alex Chapeska is so sure the Lions are winning the Super Bowl, he did this.
So I got this early August, a week before the first preseason game. I knew they were doing it. It's happening.
Before the playoffs, even before the 12 regular season wins, and yes, even before the season started, Chapeska tatted Lions Super Bowl Champs 2024 on his arm and says the response?
Yeah, there's a few haters out there, but mostly everyone's been positive. And
as you can imagine, he's gained more and more praise for his permanent prediction as the Lions keep winning.
The longer it goes, the more people have been on board. And
in the locker room today after team practice, Alex Anzalone says all the support from fans has been unbelievable, and this is no exception.
I mean, the tattoo, that's a huge commitment. Obviously, you get it removed, but, yeah, it's awesome just because of, when I re-signed here in March, it's the biggest thing for me is obviously I had to work out, in different ways. But I think the legacy that you can leave here just because of where this organization has been, you can cement your name in history here, and our opportunities right in front of us.
Chapeska says, again, as the tattoo reads, this Sunday, Lions win, and the Super Bowl, Lions win.
It feels like destiny now that it's our turn. It's the most exciting time I've ever had being a Lions fan.
In Allen Park, Gino Vici, CBS News, Detroit.
Wow, one pride.
I hope it works out for you, bud.
Yeah, same. Now, throughout these playoffs, the Lions have been crowned America's team. We've seen people from all over the country start rooting for Detroit.
Because you know what? Why not? The fan base is passionate and diehard through and through, even for those Lion fans outside of Michigan. Steve Overmeyer shows you a Lions diehard from New York.
We go down to the Lions man cave.
In the heart of Long Island, you'll find a rare breed.
Fan cave.
Otherwise known as the Lion's Den.
The Lion's Den.
Rich Yavoli of West Hills has remained a devoted fan to one of the most historic and yet beleaguered franchises in NFL history, the Detroit Lions.
This was very important because this was, you know, all the pain we endured. You had to have something to punch or kick or throw prior to the last couple of years. A normal Sunday, this guy would typically get like one of those, but not this year.
The Lions won an NFL championship back in 1957, but since then, only one single playoff victory until this year.
You wait, you wait, you wait, you hope, you hope. It never seems to happen. And then when it does happen, like it is right now, it's the greatest feeling in the world.
With pride, he'll show off his treasure trove of Lions memorabilia.
This is actually a piece of turf from the Pontiac Silverdome.
If I step on this, will I blow out my ACL?
There's a good chance you might. Let me check my homeowner's insurance.
Most Lions fans in New York are from Michigan. Rich is a New Yorker through and through.
Detroit played every Thanksgiving. I get the opportunity to see Billy Sims. He's cutting, he's moving, and I'm like, whoa, this is my guy. This is my team. Great colors, Honolulu blue, white. Let's go. I'm a Lions fan, apparently.
A lion-hearted fan who, against all odds, is seeing his loyalty rewarded with moments that exemplify the enduring magic of sports and spirit of a die-hard fan.
If you called any of my friends, they would say, Richie starts every year telling us that this is their year. This is their year. It's going to happen this year.
And now, with the Lions one step away from the Super Bowl, Rich is clinging to hope that this is the year Lions fans can roar.
Well, even the Jets have a Super Bowl, as tough as it's been for them lately. I don't. I have nothing. I have nothing to fall back on. But I think that's all about to change.
In West Hills on Long Island, Steve Overmeyer, CBS News.
The Cowboys.
That's awesome. And speaking of the NFL, we want to hear from you, Lions fans. Who is your favorite Lions player of all time? We know there's too many greats on this list, but it's perplexing to choose. But hard choices must be made.
Yes.
Vote right now by scanning this QR code on your screen on the right side there, or by going to 9and10news.com.
All right, what's game day without some cold snacks and good food? We'll have some recipes for you that are sure to feed your Lion spirit. Next on the Roar Restored on the 4.
And welcome back, everyone, to the special Roar Restored 4. We've talked about the game. We've talked about how Lions fans are celebrating the Lions one win away from the Super Bowl, somewhere we've never been. But we haven't talked about one of the most important aspects to the game, the food.
Now, it doesn't matter who you're rooting for. It's all about your spread.
Yeah.
Is it championship game worthy?
Better be.
Well, we're here to help you out a bit with some delicious recipes that you can also find over at mynorth.com thanks to our friends over at MyNorth. The old football saying, offense wins games, defense wins championships. Well, dips and salsas win your game day spread. Ooh. This cheese dip is simple, 4 ingredients. That's it, folks. But it'll be a smashing success for your friends and family. All you need is a ½ pound of fresh Chev, which I believe is goat cheese, 6 ounces creme fraiche, 1/3 cup chopped Kalamata olives, and a ½ cup chopped sun-dried tomatoes in olive oil. Now, it's easy to mix it up from there. Take all the ingredients, put them in a bowl, mix them up well, and preferably serve with La Fiesta chips.
Oh, those are good.
Made in Hart, Michigan.
Those are the best chips. Let's pretend not everyone loves a good cheese dip, okay? We're just pretending here because that's not true.
That's a stretch.
Salsa always reigns supreme. Everyone has their own salsa recipe, but you have to check this out over on mynorth.com. It's called the Kitchen Sink Salsa because look at all these ingredients. And it delivers. You have to head over to mynorth.com, though, and have They have everything from main courses to appetizers to desserts that you have to check out.
Making it easy.
There you
Making
go.
it easy. Now,
So your spread is all there
the whole
for you.
spread.
We're helping.
We're helping. Now, one small business has gone viral for the first time.
This is cool.
Thanks to the jackets worn by Kelly Stafford and her daughters at the Rams-Lions wildcard game.
Yeah, you also might have seen a certain vampire get one as well. Sports reporter Kennedy Broadwell, though, sat down with the jacket's creator and got a pretty sweet surprise. Check it out.
As a sports reporter, there are a few things that I love more than a great game day outfit. And with the Lions on their way to the NFC Championship game, I felt like my wardrobe could use a little bit of help. Luckily, with the help of social media, I was able to track down who just made some pretty awesome jackets for a pretty prominent NFL family.
The night that game was announced, the Lions-Rams game, Kelly Stafford's stylist, Mary, reached out to me on Instagram and asked if I would potentially be interested in creating like a custom piece that incorporates the Lions and the Rams. And I immediately got to brainstorming, and we were able to produce those jackets in 4 days and ship them by the end of the week, so they would have them in time for the Lions-Rams game.
What started as a hobby in McClure's college days at James Madison University quickly turned into her full-time job.
I'm doing this for almost 6 years now. It's definitely really rewarding, finally having, you know, I wouldn't say payoff, but having some recognition. It feels really good, and yeah, it's definitely really rewarding.
Just before Christmas, McClure started to feel defeated and even started to look for another job.
I think like this whole experience has given me new hope for my business and motivation to keep creating.
And thank goodness she stuck with it, because now it was my turn for a one-of-a-kind piece.
Something for you. I finished your sweatshirt.
The vast majority of Tongue-Tied Apparel's fabric comes secondhand.
So this is, a patch from a sweatshirt. This is from a t-shirt. This is from a jersey. And this is the sleeve of the jersey.
If you're interested in a custom piece of your own, you can find all of the information you need on Tongue-Tied Apparel at 9and10news.com.
All right, a very, very special interview. We're going to be chatting with 9 and 10's very own digital reporter, Elizabeth Hosang. Now, you have an article coming out that pretty much addresses when the last time the Detroit Lions were at this level of gameplay. This is an exciting time.
No, I mean, you have to think about the last time Detroit was in the NFC Championship. It was 1991-1992 season. So I was...
Barry Sanders leading
6 going on 7. And... yeah, I knew of the Lions, but of course, you know, I wasn't paying much attention at the time. I was more entertained by Ninja Turtles and Saved by the Bell and some other things that were, you know, Saturday morning cartoons.
Keep going. I'm loving this. This is nostalgia incarnate.
So what better way to look at what the world looked like the last time the Lions were in the NFC Championship? Elizabeth, take us down this rabbit hole.
Yes, please.
Yeah, well, I wasn't alive yet, but I did do some research. So yeah, it was an interesting time back then. For instance, some movies that were out were Home Alone 2, Beauty and the Beast was in theaters at the time.
Whoa, the animated. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the only way to watch movies at home was VHS. DVDs come out for like another 5 years after that. So,
and what even breaks it more home for anybody in the news industry, they were editing reel to reel.
Exactly.
I'm glad those days are no longer here.
Yeah, pop culture was crazy. I mean, again, nostalgia hitting hard. Some of the music then, I mean, Nirvana, Metallica, you know, grunge was a thing. The clothes. I mean, what was it?
Wait, what year was this? This was was this Junko Jeans era, or was that too early?
That's late 90s.
That's late 90s. Okay.
Way before Jinko, bud. Come on.
The gigantic pant legs. Oh man, you could fit 3 Erics in 1 pair of pants. Love them. Love them. What else was going on in the world last time the Lions were at this level?
Well, the world did look a lot different, but the internet was just starting. So the World Wide Web's very first webpage went live that year, or 91 in August. So it's the beginning of the tech era. And as you know, a lot has progressed since then. So we're basically living in a whole new world. There was the IBM just came out with its ThinkPad. One of the first laptops.
The first laptop, yeah, I remember that.
The little mouse with the little red thing.
The clicker.
In the middle of the keyboard, so you kept always hitting the keys on each side.
Exactly. Another cool thing that I found, the first video phone was actually out already, but it was a landline. So
a landline video phone.
Yeah, so if someone else had the same one, you could chat with like a 3x3 inch screen. It was full color. But do you guys want to guess how much that cost?
Wait, you also have to take into account the time period.
Early 90s?
Early 90s. I'm going to say in the ballpark of $1,000. Because that seems like big technology.
I mean, yeah, with a 3x3 screen, I gotta go with something like $2,500.
$2,500?
Right in the middle, $14.99.
Wow. That's a high price tag, especially if it doesn't even work if your friends don't also
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of the same price. You only get a 9-inch screen now, and it's mobile, and it's $1,400.
That's true.
Hey.
We haven't grown too much.
Yeah, inflation hasn't gone up too bad on the video phones. It's just mobile now.
True. We can do a lot more with them. So
That is
I guess
true. Yeah.
that changed.
Everything from the early 90s that was technology crazy, like you had the internet, you had a video phone. Cell phones were just like, there were those big blocky things. You remember those? I think those were around at the time.
Were they?
Yeah. I think it was early 90s that they came out. So, I mean, you have those, you put them all together for $1,400. And that's what we have now. So, I mean, yeah, we're making advancements.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
But let's talk let's talk about the nation. Let's talk about the United States at that time. What was going on then?
Well, Bill Clinton was elected the president that year.
Oh.
No, this was his first go around.
Yes, it would have been his first go.
Okay.
Right. He defeated Bush. Not so much in the U.S., but world news, the Duke and Duchess of York announced their separation.
That was big news. Yeah.
That was big. Uh-oh.
It's weird because my parents in particular don't care at all about the royal family. But even then, my mom was watching all the updates and, oh my goodness.
You know, side tangent. It doesn't matter. A lot of people will tell you, I don't care what's going on with the Royals, but when something juicy hits,
scandalous hits,
everyone's always like, what'd they say? Like, everyone's got the nose in there, so I don't want to hear. But yeah, okay, continue, Elizabeth.
Yeah, well, it's funny, just a side note as well, the whole Roman Empire thing, it's a rumor going around that the woman's Roman Empire is Princess Diana. So
there you go.
Oh, that rings true. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So Clarence Thomas was named to the Supreme Court that year.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, a weirder note, that was the year that Jeffrey Dahmer pleaded guilty to his murders. Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So stuff like that was going.
That's wild.
Wow. Now, is there anything that is in your article that you didn't know before, Elizabeth? Did anything jump out and surprise you?
You know, a lot of it was really interesting, especially the internet part, just because it just dominates our life now. I mean, I'm working with you from home because of the internet. So, so yeah, that was definitely interesting. And you can actually visit the very first webpage. It's still live. There's a link in the article if you wanted to check it out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Now, Elizabeth, all right, the big one. Loaded question here. What are your predictions for the game?
Well, the Lions are going to win.
Yeah, well done.
Do you have a score?
You know, I don't.
Okay.
I can't say that I do. I'm definitely more along for the ride in this one. I've never claimed to know everything about sports, but I've always been devoted, diehard fan. I was a cheerleader my whole life, so I've definitely loved sports and just being in that atmosphere. So to see this happen for the first time really in my lifetime has been a phenomenal feeling, and I just really can't wait to see what they do on Sunday. So
it's going to be interesting. And again, her article is full of what was happening back when the Lions last went to the NFC Championship. And that Lions seemed very different from the Lions that we have now. When you look at them, Wayne Fonts was the coach, Barry Sanders was there, Eric Kramer was our quarterback, Herman Moore at the wide receiver position, Jason Hansen at kicker. The team was very different. Football was very different
Football
at the time.
was very different. Yes, it was.
So a very interesting read, and Elizabeth, we can't thank you enough for being here and sharing that information with us, because it is nostalgia road for me and Eric. We were just, tykes.
I was reading through the article, had to go back and reread it, because I'm like, wait, that was 30 years ago, over 30 years ago. I mean, like it.
Was it Super Nintendo was just coming out? I had to have it. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that it's taken this long for the Detroit Lions to be back one win from somewhere they have never been. So pretty wild.
It is a cool time to be alive.
Elizabeth, thank you again. And if you want to catch her article, head over to 9 and 10 News and read the entire thing and just travel down the road and see where we were. What, 30 some odd years now.
32?
Yeah, something like that. It's a long time ago. I don't remember how old I am. But thank you again, Elizabeth, and we'll be right back.
Thank you guys. I enjoyed talking to you.
After this short break, Michael and I will share with you who we think will be heading to Las Vegas to play in Super Bowl 58. It's coming up on The Roar Restored, special on the 4. Stick around. And welcome back to The Roar Restored. Okay, here is where the fun begins. We've talked all show about the tremendous fandom around the Lions this year, but it's time to put up or shut up. We're picking the teams to win their championships and head to the Super Bowl.
Do you really think we're going to pick against the Lions? I mean, it's possible, but no, of course not. The goal for the Lions is to get over 30 points, so if that can happen, as they've shown all season long, they can and will likely win the game. I picked the Lions to win 32-28. Difference is just over a field goal, so 4 points. But I think, again, if they hold Christian McCaffrey as well as DB show up and get to Purdy, I think we'll be just fine. And I think that score will suffice.
And pretty close, I picked the Lions coming out ahead 31-24.
Also, a really good number there.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be separated by a touchdown, and I think this is going to be a high-scoring game either way. Either way.
And I think you'll see them in bunches. I don't think it's going to be, spread out through the game.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a back-to-back, someone scores, someone else is going to come
It's going to go back and forth, which is going to make for a fantastic matchup.
That's right. So.
Now, we also want to hear what you have to say, so head on over to our Facebook page. Tell us who you think will win the big game and by how much.
All right, now we're not done with predictions because there's another game going on too. Because
we haven't talked about
whoever goes to the Super Bowl will have to take this other teams on. So, and this is where you have to smart but also strategic, because
sit down.
We want the Lions to take on the weakest of the two links, of course, the easiest chance in the Super Bowl if we get there. That's what we want.
We also don't like to be wrong at the same time. No one likes that. Now, the Chiefs are taking on the Ravens. These playoffs are the first time Chief quarterback Patrick Mahomes is not playing at home for an AFC championship game. This marks his 6th straight AFC championship, which is just silly.
It is.
So here's who Michael and I have for winning the AFC. Taking on the Lions.
I have
in the Super
Kansas
Bowl.
City. I really want Kansas City to win, because we've proven we can beat Kansas City. Baltimore slapped us during the season, and Baltimore's proven they can beat us hard. But I think Baltimore does come out on top, 35-31. I go all the way back before the playoffs started. I said it was going to be the Ravens-Lions in the Super Bowl with the Lions victorious, but I think the Ravens somehow find a way to shut down Mahomes and their offense, and 35-31.
That's why I think there's going to be a bigger difference in the score. I also think the Ravens are going to pull out ahead 27 to Kansas City's 14, because if you can shut down Mahomes, you shut down the Chiefs. And I think the Ravens have the squad to do that.
Yeah, and I have a higher scoring game, but the same result. Ravens winning 35-31.
Bit closer, though.
A bit closer, but obviously we have the same kind of mindset
Yep.
here with the other
Ravens,
side
Lions,
of
Super
the
Bowl.
bracket. Yeah, I
Yep.
think so. I think that could be the go.
What a
But
game.
we have to get
What
through
a
the
game.
49ers first. So that's our predictions for
Yes.
both the NFC and AFC championship games. But we'll have much more coming up right after the short break. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
That does it
to
for our
the
special
Roar Restored.
Roar Restored show.
And make sure you're heading over to both 9and10news.com. We got polls for the Lions over there.
Yep.
Show your pride. Head to our Facebook. Give us your input. We want to hear from you.
Yep, and we want to see your pictures. We want to see your experiences.
Yes.
The generations decked out in your Lions gear. Generations cheering because it's been generations since this has happened.
We're all
for
in
the
this
Detroit
together,
Lions.
so we want to share. We want to share in your celebrations with you, folks.
So please send over to either 910 News Facebook page, the Lifestyle Facebook page, or 910 News Instagram. Just tag us wherever you have
Yes.
a wonderful Lions game.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we're victorious on the other side and not leaving our hearts in San Diego. And Eminem's just going to
San
take us to
Francisco.
another. Oh yeah, San Francisco.
Well, that's going to do it for our special Lions NFC Championship pregame show, The Roar Restored. Thank you all so much for watching. And don't forget, live coverage in Detroit starts right now, 5:30, local 32 on Championship Sunday.
Yeah.
Kennedy Broadwell, Drive the Stories. We'll see you later, folks.
Bye, everybody.
Go Lions!
Woo!